We're on the beat with Tony Morrone, and we have Chris Steffler with us today from the band Platinum Blonde. Chris is the drummer, and so Chris, the band is from the 80s. That's when the band originated, but the band recently did a show almost a year ago at the Mod Club as part of the Kenny McLean tribute. Give us a bit of a history of Platinum Blonde back in the 80s, when it first got together.
Well, in a nutshell, it's funny, it just was a real comedy of errors how the whole thing came together, and we were just lucky right from the word go. And I would say that, you know, we were just three young guys that were throwing ourselves at this, and, you know, we just didn't want to have day jobs, so we busted our asses doing a lot of touring, and basically as a police cover band, kind of decided after a year and a half of full-time playing that we'd like to introduce some of the original material. Serge, our guitar player, was hot on the originals, and then Kenny, and then Mark was fantastic, putting his touches on the lyrical aspects, and just putting a real good songwriting, a good songwriting team with those guys. And it was just there was lots of bands that we looked up to that were way better than us, but it was just kind of the I guess just the chemistry of it all that came in our favor. And no one would sign us in the beginning. Our manager tried to shop our discs everywhere, our tapes, cassette tapes. And it wasn't until we brought in a second partner that, as a manager, that we had a kind of a financial backer. And at that time, he had the guts to put in $40,000 of his own money to do a mini album. And then with that being distributed through CBS, which our original manager, Bruce Barrow, put together, basically it was a product piece that was their biggest selling mini album in the history of Canadian CBS, so they were willing to get behind it and do a full album. So basically from there it was just a Cinderella story, and after doing 2 tours with the Bryan Adams from Coast to Coast, and then Billy Idol with the Rebel Yell tour, we were well on our way to do our own shows. And then we had a Standing in the Dark tour, and then we had our Alien Shores tour, and that was pretty good. It was breaking some records for merchandising and attendance and stuff for that year, 1985. And really it was just a Cinderella story.
Well, let's go back to the first EP that you did. Now that's pretty famous, and you had some great videos from that. I mean, very unique looking videos. Doesn't really matter. Had a kind of a drum, a trademark drum hand clapping. You brought it into the video where the girls were slamming the door in the same beat. Whose idea was that?
You know what? Really, we were just three dummies, showing up for this video shoot, and we had to really trust what had happened with our producer, Robert Courtley, from Champagne Pictures at the time, I think was the name of his company. And we were there, and we were trying to come up with creative ideas that were visual. The whole first record was $40,000, but the record company says, okay man, we're going to throw some money at this video, but it's going to cost as much as your whole record, so it better be damn good. I think once that groove kind of came across on the audio, that he decided to match the girls doing some clapping there with the snare drum or whatever at that time. So, and the whole thing was just like that. It was just we were very lucky to catch the video rage at the right crest of the wave, and basically, you know, with video stuff, you just kind of show up and go, okay, where do I stand? You know what I mean? Like, you can kind of give them ideas, but they're going to do what they want to do anyway. We learned after like the 5th video, you know, so.
Where did the platinum blonde hair suddenly come in? At what point? I should have asked, what point did the platinum blonde hair come into the picture?
You know, it's funny. I think Mark was styling hair, and he was a hairdresser. I mean, he decided to do that, and he was working in a muffler factory, and then said, fuck this, and started doing something else. And really, I mean, he just saw it on a tube of hair gel, or ladies' hair dye, and thought it was a cool name. And then, you know, I'd go and see him play, and basically, I thought he looked like the guy from Japan, and it was really cool, you know. And a lot of girls would hang out with the band and stuff, and I thought, man, these guys are, you know, they got something going on. And then I remember Serge came in the band, and he was just a straggly haired guy, and then Mark said, let me fix your hair, man. It'll look better on stage, and he chose blonde, and then that was it from there.
And actually, Kenny was a hairdresser too. Right after Platinum Blonde, he kept on doing hair.
Yes, Kenny was a great stylist, and working in Yorkville, and he has to put up with high-end clients. He has to be very good, and he would even, you know, work at the best salons, and it was great to have him in the band too, and we could fix our hair here and there on the road. But I mean, we had Kenny there because he was an excellent songwriter.
Well,
and we had seen his band. We were fans of his band, Deserters. We would be going to watch those guys play, and we'd be sitting there with our tongues hanging out going, wow, these guys are just cool. And so we even stole a few ideas off them, you know, like we're influenced, you know, by his band, The Deserters. And
Kenny came into the band on the second album.
That's right. Not the 6-track mini album, not Standing in the Dark, but he came in on an album called Alien Shores.
And speaking of Alien Shores, you had a phenomenal producer, Eddie Offord, who was Yes's soundman and Yes's producer.
Yes, yes. Yeah, he'd also done John Lennon, The Police. He's just great, you know, and we were very lucky to have him. And of all the producers we worked with, he was the easiest guy to get along with. He'd just say, just play, you know, just... Just play, not tell you what to play, but play, you know, and then he would mold it. So I thought it was really good. We were very fortunate to have him. And I think that's how Alex Lifeson from Rush was more interested to come down and hang out with us, because of the famous Eddie Offord. You know, and then we were lucky that Alex played on a couple of our songs. So that's really worked out well.
So Chris, thanks for joining us. And
well, I want to thank Nightingale Music for giving a damn to come over and say hi. Tony, you're the best. I can't believe it. Thanks.